Good morning, everyone. I am SS the Showstopper, and it's the 24th of August 2023. Now, we've seen where Derrick Morgan has clapped back at Queen Ifrica, and Queen Ifrica have responded to him. He's been going on and, being himself. It's a female, rather, who has took a phone and showed him what Miss Ifrica has been saying about him and stuff like that. And he began cussing and saying that he has never troubled Queen Ifrica, and Queen Africa has is targeting him and is attacking him, and she's jealous of blah blah blah. His rant. I'm not gonna get into it because he's just saying the same. He's regurgitating the same thing that he's always saying, describing other people, describing people's situation, and saying some very disrespectful things and stuff like that. Queen Africa has clapped back later in the night, and she was going at him and going at the people. Now, what I see, there are certain things that I picked from that whole entire scenario, and to me, Derrick Morgan, Derrick Morgan, Derrick Morgan. I am looking at the song that Queen Ifrica made or recorded, Daddy Don't Touch Me There. I'm looking at Queen Ifrica's ballot government name, and I'm looking at Queen Ifrica's father, Derrick Morgan. So Queen Ifrica's father is the singer great Derrick Morgan. She's related to the Morgan heritage family. Okay? The singer, great Derrick Morgan, and now here lies a man who is in the streets, who Queen Africa has come out and has spoken about with Nicki Minaj giving him money, and he's been known for doing a lot of antics on the social media platform of TikTok, and gyrating and carrying on and disrespecting people in the most foul way, in particular women. And he's dressing up like a woman at the same time and doing all these kind of things. And his name is also Derrick Morgan. I think there are some things that need to be investigated because Queen Africa may have just opened up a can of worm. Now, based on my knowledge and based on what I've seen and heard people be saying about Derrick Morgan, is that he has been, interfering with young boys and stuff like that. Queen Africa isn't the first person who have said it on social media. Other persons have said it also on social media about Derrick Morgan. So I think the police, I think law enforcement, I think the children's registry at CDA, I think these people need to investigate this man and find out his background and what he is about, because the song that she sing about Daddy Don't Touch Me There seemed to be a premonition of what was actually going to unfold way ahead. And this is what a lot of people are speaking out on. This man, I believe he's up on sound mind based on his behavior, based on the things that we have seen online. Clearly, I mean, anybody can tell that he's not really with us. You understand, in its entirety. But at the same time, not being with us are half mad. You're not going to get away if you're involved in interfering with children, in particular little boys. And I've heard the story floating around social media. People in his entourage or people who have affiliated with him before in the past have spoken out about him interfering with little boys. And so the CDA need to come in and do their investigation, the Children's Registry, Sisoka, and the law enforcement. They need to come in and investigate this man and find out what he's about. You understand? So sometimes the devil, as I said, give with its right hand and take with the left. And it has a way of exposing people. It has a way of showing people. They just allow them to dance right in front of you and show who they really are. So I think there are way too many people who have come out and spoken about this man, this particular individual. And it's funny because it's people who I said before have been associated with him in one way or another that have said the same thing about him. So it really needs to be investigated. This is no joke. This is no joke. It's not just about, and what Jamaica system is not just about homosexuality and stuff like that. We know subliminally the Jamaican society is not necessarily educated about the history of homosexuality and homophile. You understand me? They just know the history of what took place on a slavery plantation in Jamaica. but not necessarily history of homosexuality in pederasty, which is in the Greek culture and Greek mythology. Pederasty was a system of where Zeus, the Greek god, he transformed himself into an eagle. And when he transformed himself into an eagle, he flew down and he picked up the prettiest boy. Picked up the prettiest boy and he went and he had sex with the boy. He sexually groomed the boy until the boy becomes a man or the boy starts going through puberty where he start growing facial hair and all these things. Then you get rid of the boy and then you go for another one. Their culture was in Greek, in ancient Greek, was a sexually groomed boys. They only needed women for procreation and for a wife, but their culture was a sexually groomed boys. You understand? And that's where it comes from. The word pedophile is a Greek word also. So when you see this umbrella under pederasty, that was what it's really about. And a lot of these myths growing up, a lot of these stories were told about Peter Pan and all these kind of things. Pan was a, like we would call a minotaur, like a half human, half goat, and it lives wild in the forest and it would lure children. It would lure children for whatever purposes or intent it had, and it was mainly under sex. It was mainly under sex or something that had to do with sex, grooming of children, and stuff like that. So we have to be careful. So they commercialize Peter Pan and show him as this genie or something that never ages. You understand? Goes back to Michael Jackson and his Neverland Ranch. And funny enough, what Michael Jackson have been accused of over the years with little boys. So in the situation with Jamaica, I think once Jamaica educates itself and have, because we have a certain knowledge, but it's a limited knowledge of it. But once we educate ourselves and we have the full grasp of what we're dealing with, we will see America needs to understand their culture is not Jamaica. If they have one, is not Jamaican culture. Your culture of slutty nurse, slutty teacher, and all these kind of things, and men dressing up as women and doing all of these kind of things. That's in your culture, and that's what you choose to accept as your culture. And in other parts of the world, when Jamaica travel there, Jamaica have to respect the culture. Jamaica have to leave the you people alone and abide by the laws that govern its sovereignty. On Jamaican soil, Jamaica does not support the act of homosexuality. Jamaica doesn't, by law, support it. However, there are known homosexuals on the soil. There are known people who are homosexual who are living in Jamaica and living freely. They are educators, they are politicians, they are doctors, they are attorney. Many of them are very successful, and these are known homosexual people. They are also in certain communities, many at risk community, many in rural areas. I've lived in rural parish. I've lived in St. Elizabeth before. I've seen homosexuals there living. They walk around on the street. Nobody interfere with them. They're well known. I've seen them all up and about. You understand me? Once they're not interfering with a straight man or whatever the case may be. It could be a down low man who professes to be straight to the public, but is a homosexual in private or behind closed door. That's their business. Nobody's out attacking them. Nobody's out interfering with them. You understand me? Usually, when the crime is around homosexuality, it's usually homosexuals killing homosexual. They're killing each other. So when we study the history and understand, I'm just giving you a brief history and a brief what's taking place on Jamaican soil when it comes to homosexuality. There's no straight person running on a homosexual with harpoons, swords, and bayonet or a gun to do them anything. They are usually the ones meddling with each other and stabbing up each other, chopping up, hacking each other, shooting each other to death. One was killed in Hanover recently, and it was said that he was killed by his lover. They stabbed him to death. It was his lover. It was his gay lover who did it. You understand? That's their life and that's what they do. They're always violent. Their homosexuals are known violent people in Jamaica. We've seen their behavior in the diaspora when they get asylum in other countries. They are on the social media and they're behaving the same way. There's absolutely nothing changed about them. So for those who think that Jamaica is a society where we're running down and chasing gays and killing them, that's not the case. You understand me? Derrick Morgan, however, should be investigated because we have been hearing these things about him and little boys. And that's one thing Jamaica is not going to tolerate. You understand me? Jamaica, or should not, any nation for that matter, should never tolerate anybody who decides to interfere with the natural process and the natural growth of the innocence in a child. And Derrick Morgan name has been circulating around these kind of things. More than one persons, as I said, and these are people who are associated with him who have come out and come forward and have been saying these things on social media. So he very well needs to be investigated. So Queen Africa, you're on the right path. You're on the right path for calling him out. I'm sorry. You're on the right path for calling him out. Like I said, people have speech impediments, so forgive me, please. You understand me? Usually, when I'm fluent is when I make jottings. I don't make jottings anymore. I just speak from my head and speak candidly. You understand? I was in disagreements with you calling out Nicki Minaj for helping him out, Derek, when he really needed the help. And so many persons have looked past it. There are so many other people who need the help in your community, who are on the street, who are on social media, who have professed to want in help and assistance, and nobody choose to help them. But when one person come out, whether it be a foreign national or so, we are quick to highlight the agenda they have. We are quick to highlight their ulterior motives, their personal gain, whatever hidden agenda they have. We are quick to highlight it. You understand me? And that's where I didn't like about what Queen Ifrica was doing. But at the end of the day, she's on the right path. I think that you're heading somewhere, Queen Ifrica. But I also believe that you need to be very strategic in what you need to have a plan. You need to have a goal. You need to have a target. A lot of people are confused. A lot of people think that your message is very confusing and they don't know what your message is basically. We've seen wherein you speak out on the government, you speak out on the Maroons and what they are doing. You are bringing forth information to the public that they are not the original Maroons. You understand me? Of settlers that were here way before slavery, that we have agreed on, that we have seen the history of which provided itself with such information. However, we want to know what is your message, Queen Ifrica? What path are you on? I think you need to have a team that is very strategic in going forward so we can know what exactly is it that you are going at. So we can say, okay, this is what Queen Africa is speaking of. And your message is about this, your message is against that, your message is against. So we can have a clear and precise understanding because the people are standing with you, but a lot of them I have to be handpicking what to stand and support. They are handpicking because they don't know which angle you're coming from. You understand me? Whatever situation you and Minister Hall have, I think you need to settle it in a different manner. Queen Africa, everybody is not going to accept the energy that you're pushing. It looks a bit masculine. It looks a bit masculine. It's not feminine. It seems aggressive. And a lot of people will not take it as it is. A lot of people won't accept it like that. It can be a turn off for people. I understand your message, wherein in some aspects of it, I understand what you are trying to say, and you have to be a very strong woman, but it doesn't mean that you have to come off extremely aggressive. Minister Hall, formerly Lady Saw, we all know that she's also an aggressive person. She's a force, but she's doing things from God angle. You're saying that you haven't received their message. Fine. You are not a religious person or a Christian. We can understand. So I'm not expecting you to receive Minister Hall message in its entirety because you don't believe in what she believes in. So you just have to just leave that alone and accept it for what it is. That you will never see eye to eye. Your fundamentals are different. She's not a Rasta. She doesn't believe in the Rasta movement or faith. There are so many people out there who do not support it. But that doesn't mean we're not in agreement with you with what some aspects of your message. We just don't know what direction are you coming from and what exactly is it that you are trying to put forward. So it would be great if you have a team, and I know that's what you're trying to gather, but try not to gather at straw. L.A. Lewis is a person who has information, yes, but L.A. Lewis has damaged his own reputation and his own sense of reality because of the mere fact that you can't tell when he's being a damn joke, when he's doing clownery things, or when he's serious. He'll come out and he'll say something and he's on the right path, and just watch him talk for a few minutes, then he's gone into the foolishness, and nobody has time for that. So if you're going to catch at straw and that it's not going to work, you have to have a strategic planning. You have to get a strategist with you, someone who understands and you can sit down and have a meeting with your team and find out how you are going to proceed so the public will have a clear, remember, you're bringing information to the public, so we need to have a clear understanding. Remember, I also caution you, Miss Ifrica, that your message will end up becoming a mere information, because the mass of the people just don't care. They will receive the message and they don't care. They like to be led to their doom. There have been so many others before you. I'm glad you point out Marcus Garvey. I'm glad you point out Marcus Garvey, because he was on a roll also. You understand? And you saw what the mass of the people did to Marcus Garvey. So at the end of the day, you don't want that to happen to you, and I'm glad you spoke out about it. So guess what, you're gonna have to have a strategy. Yes, there'll be infiltrators, we know. So what you do, you record it, so whenever they come forward to say one thing or say that they're going to expose you, you will have recordings to prove that that message or whatever it is that they're bringing is a lie. Because we know infiltrators are everywhere. They took down the entire Black Panther movement, you understand, and that's why it became a fiasco. And you don't want your movement or whatever you're putting out there to become a fiasco, you need to have it planned out. You need to have a strategy going forward. Queen Africa, Minister Hall is doing what she's doing. She's trying to bring people together one way or another, and she's using God, she's using the Bible, she's using the name of Jesus Christ, she's using her religious path to do that. I don't see anything wrong with that. She's not professing violence. It's not going to be what you like. But at the end of the day, it's wholesome. So let us celebrate each other. Let us commend each other, Miss Ifrica. Everything doesn't require you badgering people. Minister, all and you do not see eye to eye. You just have to leave it alone and call it a day. She's not seeing eye to eye with you. Just leave it alone, because you're not a Christian and she's not a Rasta. So then and there, I don't think agreeing to disagree. I just think that certain things have to be left alone, and that's it. You just wish each other the best and leave it as it is. So I think that you need to have a team going forward. You need to have a plan. You need to have an objective. You need to have a goal for this week or this month, what we're going after and stuff like that. I am so glad you called out Derrick Morgan situation. You understand me? I am so glad you called it out. And I find it to me, as I said before, it's like a premonition, because your father's name, your government name, the song that you recorded, and this character coming into play on social media. I think he needs to be investigated. He needs to be investigated. This is no joke. This is no joke. We have to take these things extremely serious, because as we have realized, the result of this path is that people are going into depression. They don't know how to handle the situation of being molested. So they either become a molester themselves, or they just give it all up and decide that they are going to go into this kind of bizarre behavior and display some very raucous, vulgar um display online, you understand, for the mass of the people to see. And some of it is very frightening. Another thing I realized that I pointed out yesterday in my video is that it's black women who these men emulate. It's black women who the Derrick Morgan, who the Shibata emulate. So if they are disrespecting or they are behaving in such manner, they're mimicking someone. They're mimicking the vulgar, loud, foul-mouthed black woman that's out there. They are mimicking that kind of character, that kind of identity, that kind of behavior. And so they think it's cool because those women do it and they get an audience once they do it. They are behaving the most nasty way and they get an audience, they get support by any means to see who can go in on each other the most. So when that character comes into play, black women don't like it because what? It's a negative reflection of them. But they are the same woman. Who gave Derrick Morgan the phone? A woman. Was it an Asian woman? Was it a white woman? Was it a Chinese, Indian, Middle East? No. It was a black woman who gave Derrick Morgan the phone for him to start going in on you, for him to start saying all these nasty things. It was a woman who did it. So now you see where the problem is. We have to take the bull by its horn. We have to accept what is in front of us. We have to recognize and acknowledge what is in front of us. That black women tend to be extremely problematic for each other. Extremely problematic for each other. And we're seeing it. It is unfolding. It is unfolding. I'm not saying all of them, because clearly that will not be the case or will ever be the case It will never be all black men in any scenario. It will never be all black women. It will never be all white men in any scenario, or all white women. You understand me? But what is being promoted, or what is constantly circulated in the algorithms that they have twitched, I've also spoken about that, is these type of black women are always on display. They are always the ones that are showcasing that kind of behavior, and it's being promoted as if it is something good. That's why you have kids in school behaving the exact way. They're ready to fight in their uniform. They're ready to throw hands. They're ready to tell each other nasty things about each other, because they're learning it from the great black woman who think this is okay. Violent as ever, overly aggressive, loud, having a big, loud, large mouth, and going on and just being disrespectful. It was a woman we saw that who handed Derrick the phone, and for Derrick, she was speaking, she gave him the phone, and we saw where he began to unravel. So I think that's another thing that you need to look into. Do remember I said it in the video yesterday, Ifrica, that you have not spoken out on these women behavior and what these women are saying to each other on social media. But as soon as the man start mimicking it, the madman Derrick Morgan start mimicking it, you came out because Nikki was giving him money, and Nikki chose to donate her money to him to assist him. You understand? And I think that is very unfair. I thought that was hypocritical, because we have seen the constant behavior of women, and it's not good. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. So I think Africa, if you're strategic in your message on a path, state the specifics about it so the public can have a clear and precise understanding of what your message is all about. You're coming off ranting. It's like a rant that you're doing on social media, and it's gaining attention. It's gaining attention. The way how I do my thing and the way I bring forth my message will not gain the attention, or will not bring forth the attention, because black women are not attracted to this type of version of themselves. You are doing something of this stereotype, and it's gaining attention. It's not just because you call out Derrick Morgan. Had you sat down mildly and said Derrick Morgan this and that and all these kind of things, and so it wouldn't have went viral. But because you were cussing and you are doing this and doing that, then I'm sorry, excuse me, you began to gain the attention. So that's another thing that we need to look into. Understand? So come with a team, come with a strategy, come with planning, come with implementing something that we can have an understanding of what your message is really about, Miss Africa. That's all I have to say. And I think law enforcement needs to come on board and investigate Derrick Morgan and others out there. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.